Hey guys, welcome back for another review here at Hammer On. Today, Mirror's Edge Catalyst is being reviewed, and just on a side note, I did want to do a different intro for this video about me failing to do parkour. I thought it'd be funny, but instead I just actually failed at failing to do parkour. This is the worst fucking part. Don't be a bitch. Hardcore! Oh! But anyways, enough of that pathetic shit. Let's get right into the review. So first up, we've got story. This game had a lot of hype behind it. It had a lot of hope. And it was very advertised as being a story-driven game, a story-driven experience. And it was a lot more than the original Mirror's Edge. And we finally got rid of those horrible cutscenes. Now we actually have real cutscenes and real actors, and it's good. For the most part, the cutscenes are very well done. The problem with the story was the plot is very uninspired, very flat, and the twists are very predictable. You can basically see them coming like from a mile away. There wasn't anything that was really surprising or had an impact or anything. It was there. The story didn't get in the way of the gameplay. It wasn't memorable either though. So it's kind of what you expect from DICE nowadays anyways, like with their Battlefield series. The stories there have never been great. I'd say here this is probably a little bit better than the Battlefield storylines and campaigns, but it's still not near anything like other games are doing today. The dialogue is very well done though, and like I said, the cutscenes are pretty well done. There's a lot of characters that aren't very likable. They're not quite unlikable, but they can be borderline annoying and very cliche. But there are a few characters that really stand out and they help drive the plot forward and make it interesting. Most notably a character named Dogen and Noah. And Faith herself is actually very fun to watch on screen. Her voice actress I should say, her name is Faye Kingsley, I believe, and she did a really good job at portraying her emotions. When Faith was angry, she was angry. When she was sad, you could tell she was sad. When she was being sarcastic, like, she did a really good job at just making everything seem human. And I do applaud her for that. It was really well done. Basically, the story isn't great. It's not bad either. It's not going to be what you're going to buy this game for. The game you're going to buy mainly for the gameplay, and we're getting into that right now. Mirror's Edge still has the best parkour in the business, mark my words. Dying Light did a very good job at first-person traversal, but Mirror's Edge 2 once again becomes king of the hill when it comes to this. The movement and the animations are just done so well. It doesn't matter whether you're sliding or wall running or jumping or like sliding down ropes or whatever it is. You can always see your hands and feet. They're always doing, things you'd expect they'd be doing. And it's very tight gameplay. It's very smooth. And the traversal, it's just super, super well done. And the other part of the game, which is combat, is generally... I feel so mixed about the combat, because in one way it's the best combat I've seen in a first-person game, and I think a lot of other games can take hints from this. Because what I liked about the combat was it was up to you of how you were fighting the enemy. You could, while you were kind of punching them and kicking them, you could decide if you want to kick them to the left or right or forward, or pull them toward you and then turn them around. And there was just so much dynamics, and the environment was pretty... it responded to that. So if you would like kick someone towards an edge, they'd fall off the edge. Although I have to say, sometimes it looked pretty cheesy because it almost looked like they were pushing themselves off the edge. Can't be perfect there. I'm not going to be too angry about that. But it was very fluid, very dynamic, and you had a lot of control over your fights. Now, the problem with the combat though was mainly the level design. And the trial that you actually had to train you how to fight in this game was better designed than most of the game itself, because the combat is the best when you wall run and jump off a wall and smash into someone, or attack from high ground, or slide under something and kick them. But a lot of the times the enemies were just in an open environment, so they weren't near any surfaces or walls a lot of the time, and that just made the combat a little bit flat, where you almost had to either just punch and kick your way through them, and it got really repetitive, or you had to try to kind of like bring the enemy AI closer to an edge or a wall so that you could do a cool move or something. And that's the problem, was the level design wasn't too well thought out throughout most of the map. The combat in the end ended up falling a bit flat just because the levels weren't designed for the amazing combat system that they made. So, and they actually gave a good reason for why you can't use weapons in this game. Just as a quick side note, Krugersek, which are the enemies that you're facing, their guns and weapons, they're all initiated with fingerprints, so only they can use the weapons. So that's why Faith in this game can't use any weapons. That's how they explain it, at least. But there's also lots of other things to do gameplay wise. When you're not doing a main mission, there's tons of side missions in the open world map, and you can do anything from time trials to runs, which are timed runs basically, where you have to bring one object or something to a destination and you have to get there as fast as possible or within the time limit that they give you. There's also an upgrade system, which is a big point in this game, and I actually liked it. It didn't really get in the way for me. You can plow through the upgrades pretty fast if you just concentrate on getting the XP needed to upgrade. And finding that XP is simple by completing missions or by finding tons of pickups on the map that just give you like 20 XP here and there. So the progression system I thought was actually pretty cool, and it kept it fresh. I know that's not the most popular opinion, but I didn't mind the progression system, to be honest. I liked it. So the visuals in this game are actually really sharp, really beautiful to look at, and it has a very Logan's Run meets Blade Runner meets 1984 kind of vibe to everything, which is really well done. I will say the consoles especially though, I myself played on Xbox One, but PlayStation 4 is basically the same with slightly higher resolution. There's a lot of muddy textures around the environment, and you can tell that this game is pushing the consoles because it is a huge open world. There's tons of cool stuff with lighting and reflections and glass and stuff going on, but in general the game looks great. It runs pretty decent on consoles. Again, it's usually over 50 frames per second, so it doesn't always meet the 60 frames locked target, but it runs smooth enough that I never really had any crazy noticeable drops. Like, yes, I noticed a few times where the frame rate dropped, but it was for like a split second, and it wasn't like it dropped to like 10 frames or anything. It maybe dropped to like 40 frames or 50 frames. So it never got in the way of my gameplay, and honestly, I didn't really care. The game, in my opinion, ran pretty well. If you have a choice, get this one on PC. Now, as far as content and value, there's quite a bit here, although I will have to say it depends what you're looking for. So the campaign, average length campaign, you could probably do it 8 to 10 hours if you're just casually strutting through it. But there's so much more to do in the open world. Like I said, there's so many other missions, side missions, random little runs and time trials and competitive, I guess, asynchronous multiplayer, all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot to do in the world. You could definitely spend like 50 hours in Mirror's Edge Catalyst, and I do think it's worth the money, but it depends what you want, because like I said, the story isn't going to blow you away. It's not this crazy experience, but it is a very fun game, and most of all, it feels like a game. It's designed to be a game, and it does a very good job at that, because the gameplay, for the most part, is phenomenal. Again, aside from a few things with the combat where the level design kind of hinders it. But it's such a fun game to play. So even doing like the time trials, like you do that all day long, really. Like it's just fun. Well guys, that is the end of the Mirror's Edge Catalyst review. I do hope, however, that gave you enough insight on the game and whether it's worth your time and your money. Because everyone loves their time and the money. So let us know if you liked the video, give us a like. If you disliked the video, give us a dislike. If you're neutral and we could do something better, comment down below and let us know. We're always wanting to improve here at Hammer On. And in general, if you guys have played the game, what did you think? What can you tell the community about the game? Do you agree with us or not? Let us know. Anyways, guys, have a good one. And don't pull any stupid shit and try to parkour like Faith, because it will not work out for you.